guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Carolin RNY and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Today I'm going to talk about life after gastric bypass surgery, any regrets, grief, my relationship with food, and my binge eating disorder. If you're interested, please stay tuned. If you're new to my channel, my name's Carolin. Welcome. I had gastric bypass surgery 4 months ago on March 16th, 2020, and I've lost over 100 pounds. And feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have a whole video dedicated to losing 100 pounds, and I have a couple of what I eat in a day, so definitely check those out. Today I want to talk about any regrets I may have or how I'm feeling being 4 months out and what this whole experience has been like for me, and if I have any regrets, and if you're planning on having any kind of bariatric surgery, maybe there are some things that could help you in this video. Now, just to get right off the bat, I don't have any regrets about having this surgery. Absolutely none. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not incredibly grateful and proud that I had this surgery, because it has changed my life in a way that I never thought was going to be possible. And I talk about that a lot in all my videos and a lot on my Instagram. So check out my Instagram if you don't already follow. So no regrets, but there are some things that were not quite as expected, or things that I weren't quite as prepared for that I should have been. I think the number one thing that I'm dealing with right now, being 4 months post-op, is hair loss. I'm losing so much hair. Like, it's running through my hair. Like, this is insane. It comes out a lot more in the shower, and I've never experienced this before. I have hypothyroidism, so I already have experience like thinning hair, but it's never come out in like chunks like that. And it makes it a pain to brush my hair, even just laying down or sleeping. Like, I always wake up and there's just hair everywhere, and I feel like I vacuum all the freaking time now. I knew this was a possibility, and I felt like I was prepared for it, but literally came out of nowhere. Like, a week before I hit my 4-month post-op, my hair just started coming out. I still have a lot of hair. I have pretty thick hair. I'm blessed with that, so it's not as noticeable to other people, but I notice it. And you'll notice it too. And this is very common. I would say majority of people who have bariatric surgery experience some kind of hair loss, and it doesn't last forever. My hair will grow back. How long? That's still waiting to be seen. I'm hoping it stops falling out like this around 6 months post-op, but I don't know. I'll definitely keep you updated, and if you have any more questions related to hair loss, leave them down below. One of the things that people always talked about after having gastric bypass surgery was gassiness. And burping. And actually, when I told my dad that I was going to have this surgery, he was concerned that I would be gassy a lot and have that feeling. Yes, that is a side effect of having gastric bypass surgery. You can be a little more gassy, a little more burpy, and also constipation is something that you have to worry about too, because it's harder for us to get in water and harder for us to get in fiber. So I actually experienced my first pretty big bout of constipation this past week. I do take a stool softener every 2 days to help keep things moving, keep things regular, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely recommend that. Obviously, check with your surgeon to make sure what you're taking is approved by them. I don't experience more gas than before surgery, so lucky with that, I guess. I do burp more than I did, and it really is only if I drink too fast or eat a little too fast. So it's really important to take your time, sip your fluids, and really take your time and eat your food. My surgeon recommends eating your meal over a span of 20 to 25 minutes. So I usually set a stopwatch or a timer for myself just to keep in check with that recommendation. But the burping doesn't really bother me. I can keep it pretty discreet. It's not like these giant burps. It's very ladylike almost. I don't know. But they're not bad and it's very manageable, and I don't have any heartburn. I know that with the gastric bypass, it's very common for people to heal their heartburn, and I know that it's more common with the gastric sleeve that people end up with GERD or really bad heartburn. So yeah, that's also why I went with the gastric bypass, because I did not want heartburn. So just to sum up, I don't have any regrets. Of course, there are side effects with any surgery, and the surgery has them, but the benefits and the incredible things that I've gotten out of this surgery and through these 4 months have been far more impactful and far more amazing than any of these negative side effects. I want to talk about my relationship with food, my past eating, my binge eating disorder, and grief, and how all of those things tie in together in a nice little package. I started dieting at 10 years old, and I'm 25 now, and so I really spent 15 years trying all kinds of different diets, binging and restricting, and I binged all the time. And based on the diagnostic factors of what binging is, what binge eating disorder is, I had it. Does it magically go away after surgery? Kind of. Physically, you can't binge anymore after having this surgery. After time, as you get further and further out and your stomach stretches because it's a muscle, and if you abuse that muscle, yes, it'll stretch out and you'll be able to binge again. So these past 4 months, I've really been working hard on healing my relationship with food and introducing intuitive eating into my life and making sure that I stop when I'm full and I eat if I'm hungry. Luckily, with this surgery, those things come easy to me now. Before surgery, I was always hungry, and it took 2,000-3,000 calories of food, sometimes per meal, to get me to that sickly full feeling. And so to now get full on a tiny little plate of food, it can feel very restrictive, but honestly, it feels the most free I've ever felt in regards to food. Do I miss binging? Honestly, sometimes. I struggled with this a lot in the first 4 weeks after surgery, where I was only drinking protein shakes and eating very tiny, bland food. And at that point, I found myself grieving for my binge eating disorder and really missing it and wishing that I had it to lean on in that really difficult time. But I physically couldn't. And what a blessing, because binge eating shouldn't be my crux. It shouldn't be something I use to cope with emotions. It shouldn't be something I use to mask any of the pain that I'm feeling. And so confronting that was really hard, and I straight up cried. Like, cried hard tears because I missed my binge eating so much. Now that I'm 4 months out, it's less so. Do I find myself missing it and wishing I was able to eat more food than I can eat? Yeah. But that feeling doesn't last for long, because I remember how I felt when I binged and how I felt after I binged, and it never helped me. In fact, all it did was hurt me and dig me farther into the hole that I was already in. I feel like if you have this surgery and you've struggled with binge eating before surgery, feel prepared for this grief, because I think it'll happen. It happened for me, and I'm sure it's happened for other people. And it took me by surprise because no one warned me. No one said anything that I would grieve and feel sad and miss and want this disorder, this mental illness that had taken over my life for so many years. I wanted it back. Are you kidding me? I don't want it back. I want it gone forever. So I'm working on that. 4 months post-op, I haven't binged. I physically can't because my stomach is still very small, and I hope I never do. And so I'm working on intuitive eating and listening to the cues of my body that I now get to listen to, because my stomach is smaller. It's not as abused and stretched out as it had been before after 15 years of binging and restricting. I really highly recommend the book Intuitive Eating. Can't think of the authors right now, but it's a very well-known book, and if you have a chance to read it, please do, because It's so helpful. And it's not like I'm going to magically overnight be better in my relationship with food. Like I said, I still have moments where I miss binging, where I miss the feeling of shoving a bunch of food in my face because I'm sad or bored. A great example is this week, the past couple days, I've been PMSing something fierce, okay? And that, I'm noticing, brings my emotions right up to the surface. Like right under my skin, I feel it, I'm bubbling, I'm always so close to crying. So I cry and I sit on the floor or in my bed and I just sit there and cry, and I feel everything that I'm feeling, the frustration, the anger, the sadness, whatever. And I just sit there and I feel it, because my reality is I can't turn to food anymore. I've put so much work into where I am and I refuse to go back. So it's painful. It sucks having to sit there and cry and feel angry and upset at yourself and at the world. But after I cry and I wipe my tears and I've had all I need to have, I feel good. I've let it out. I've felt it, and I haven't masked it with food. And that is one of the best feelings in the world. And if you can get to that point, man, I'm telling you, it's so freaking worth it. So, no regrets. Working on bettering my relationship with food is a journey that I will be on probably for the rest of my life. And that's just the truth. Alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down below. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.